Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is my Umbral Equinox Noctis LUFENIA fight with Sephiroth, Setzer, Terra, and Cloud of Darkness friend. Bringing Ifrit just to have the attack up from the very beginning of the fight. I don't plan on taking any damage whatsoever because of Setzer's freeze debuff, and these guys are not too difficult. These guys are going to have their orb up here at 79%. The max orb or LUFENIA orb is at 8, so a little tight. You have to keep an eye on it. They do have pretty consistent attacks. The orb is going to cancel at around 49%, but then it'll reappear when they use their Globated Crush plus attack, and they are under 50%. So orb goes away at 49. You let them attack, they use their Globated Crush, orb comes back. If you inflict break, that's how you end up getting a +4 on the orb, and it's the only way to increase the orb count. And the turn count again is 70, a little tight. HP damage requirements 25,000, and they don't have resistance to anything, so you could completely shut them down with HP disable. So that means you can bring in Kefka, you can bring in Arciela, you can bring in Elnarsh and use Terror, things like that. When they are not immune to those kinds of debuffs, right, or those mechanics of complete shutdown, I mean, it makes almost any fight, I think, super easy. Here, Setzer kind of has that in a way, because I mean, it is Brave gain negation, but the only difference I think is that the difference between like Setzer's freeze and HP disable by Kefka is that they're still attacking with freeze, so I believe they can still inflict debuffs, where HP disable, they just can attack, and if that attack is an HP attack, then since it doesn't get executed, the debuffs don't get put on. So you'll see that one of them goes into something called a levitate stance, and while they're in the levitate stance, they are going to be weak against ranged and immune to delay. So they could also, when they do that, they're gonna cleanse all of their debuffs except for golds, obviously. They're gonna gain a bunch of brave, and then they're gonna grant themselves. They're gonna buff themselves with attack, speed, initial brave, max brave. You can break them, but you can't delay them. Again, this is in the levitate stance. So the attack, I mean, so they're gonna attack, right? If they're in the air, they're gonna attack. You can't do anything about it. You can instant break them though. You can use gravity. You could use. See, as you see there, I broke A, but it did not delay A. So just keep that in mind. They will take turns. So that's why you're gonna need some type of damage mitigation. Then this is where Setzer comes in with this red card. So right before A is gonna attack, I'm gonna apply the freeze joker. There it is, and then yeah, he's gonna attack, but no brave gain, so no damage, just like that. And then that's how you, once they use the attack, they're gonna come back down, and when they're on the ground, they're gonna have a lot of HP attacks. And that's it. So that's the only thing you really have to watch out for, is really that. Once they're on the ground, then you can start delaying them. So the key here is delay. Then they're gonna go up in the air, cleanse buffs, massive brave gain, and then they're eventually going to attack. Once they're going to attack, you need to have some type of damage mitigation, things like that, or just complete, or an HP disable or terror, something that's going to prevent them from attacking, and you're good to go. So all in all, the easiest way to get through it, to remember it, is when they're in the air, you gotta disable them or totally tank the hit some way somehow. You need to try to kill both of them at the same time. If you don't, whatever one is left is going to enrage, cleanse itself, but I believe you can disable or you can stop that from happening with HP silence. And I don't think that they will cleanse the buffs and all that stuff, but I don't know if I'm gonna be able to defeat both of them at the same time. And that's it for the, I mean, what these guys really do and what you need to look out for. I think there's a lot of ways that you could beat this fight. You could beat this fight with bringing in, again, HP disable characters from Kefka and Arciela, bringing in Elnarsh with Terra. You could also bring in a Cloud of Darkness just as a just like as part of your team. Doesn't have to necessarily be a call unit. Here you'll see again into the levitate stance, massive brave gain, but Sephiroth just completely shuts that down. Now they're broken, and we're good to go. The key is to try to push off their buffs, which is why I save Ferris is specifically for that. And then 2, 4, 2, 4, 6. So they think they already have 8, and then with Terra inflicting speed down, defense down, it pushes off their other 2 buffs, and you're good to go. You could also bring in Setzer. You can bring in Golbez. Setzer's EX I think also stops HP damage or their brave gain. Golbez's burst also doesn't allow them to, I think, gain any brave or anything like that, or protects your party from any type of brave damage. Waka, you can bring in Waka. I pulled Waka and I think I even maxed out his kit, but I still haven't used him. I don't even know if I'm going to be able to use him from this point on out. I've pulled so many characters that I haven't even used. I don't think I've used Porum once. I was super excited when I got Porum. Just having an Aura bot is never bad, but I just never felt like the necessity to have Porum. I've gotten super lucky on my pulls. If you guys have not seen my pull videos, I'm pulling things on the free multi-pull, things like that. So I've just gotten super lucky. The only person I think I didn't really get lucky for was Cloud of Darkness. I kind of rather have Cloud of Darkness over Porum. Oh, I said it. Yeah, go ahead and yeah, that's just my personal preference. Doesn't mean that Cloud of Darkness is a better character. I'm not gonna say that, but I just find myself liking Cloud of Darkness's damage, and it's very easy to have Cloud of Darkness max out with like Setzer and stuff like that. And I already have other Aura bots, but anyway, never really got to use Porum. You'll see here that after using Sephiroth's burst, Terra's just gonna keep breaking them like crazy. They literally don't get a turn. Super easy fight, I think. Because you can bring in so many different characters. You can bring, if you need damage dealers, bring in Tidus or Titus. You can bring in even a Meditilian. I think a Meditilian you could run through this with a Meditilian. I think that's definitely doable. I think that's easy because you could even replace potentially Setzer, I think, with maybe a Meditilian, because you are completely deleting their turns. You can always have a Setzer call to inflict the freeze, Joker, things like that. Bart's would also be good here because of his LD. So let's say I didn't burst with Sephiroth, I could always, if you remember, Bart's LD is a gravity-based attack, so when you use it, it's going to bring down their brave to 0, and then it does his attack, so it's going to for sure break them. And then you could also bring in Kadaj. Kadaj is another character that you could use as well, and potentially even Vincent. I know that under the Dissidia info website, under recommendations, it did say Vincent. Didn't really think about him, but I think he does what initial brave down and stuff like that. So that's a character you can also bring to the fight. And then you can also bring a lot of different type of damage mitigators, and the fact that, or actually you could even probably bring in, I would think maybe even, is it Bosch? Because the attack that you have to deal with is their AoE attack here when they're in the levitate, but since it's an AoE attack, I think Bosch might even be able to help you on here. The only thing then you have to worry about is doing a significant amount of damage. But I'm thinking if you have obviously Terra and Core, or you know, Cloud of Darkness and Terra or something like that. And Core I think would be maybe another one here. Core is good for almost everything, right? Strago as well. Since they're not weak or immune or have any resistance to any kind of magic, you can bring in Strago. I think, you know, having his AoE attacks is going to definitely help you try to accomplish defeating both at the same time. Gabranth for all of his defense down and being able to push off all of their buffs. You have a Gabranth in the party, and then you have maybe like a Ferris Call, things like that. You're going to be able to completely push off all their buffs right away, re-inflict them with a bunch of defense down to allow you to do you know, a lot of damage. Here I didn't necessarily, I don't think I had to summon, just decided to. I know that I had Setzer's buff up for the party, just trying to maximize as much damage as possible. I mean, and they don't have a lot of HP anyway, if you notice. I mean, I'm literally melting off their HP. And here it's about trying to defeat them at the same time, but even if I don't, I mean, their HP is already both so low. It's different if I had each one. If I had one like at 25-30%, then that's different. So here you're going to see bursting with magical energy. It is what it is, and not a big deal. So not too bad of a fight. Just make sure that you're watching out for that attack when they are levitated. I think that's going to be crucial for you to always keep an eye out. Watch out for the orb. It's only 8, but as long as you're bringing delayers, maybe even...
Thanks for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications for new content.
And good luck with the
Also, let me know in the comment section what you think about this mission and who you used to complete it. Check the links in the description for Opera Omnia websites that give you a bunch of helpful information, and I'll see you on the next one.